Again, welcome to the Ohio State University Instructional Kitchen. We're going to talk a little bit about two difficult tasks here for cooking. One of them is grilling and the other one is sautéing. Very dear to my heart. And I think this will open up a lot of, answer a lot of your questions. Number one thing is the heat control. Just as anything else, grill or sautéing, this knob is very, very important because with this knob, I can regulate the flame and the heat source from underneath my pan. Number one, so always use those. Do not panic. These are everywhere on your stove. The next thing is, you cannot expect to cook a piece of meat, whatever it is, whatever size it is, putting it into a cold pan and expect it to do its thing right away. Two things need to happen. You need to heat up your cooking elements, such as this sauté pan. We have two in this instance, one for the chicken, one for the steak. And the same thing will apply to the grill. When you are grilling, you want to make sure that you heat up your grill and that by running your hands over it, you can basically feel the hot points of your grill. Every grill is different. We have 7 in this kitchen, and I can assure you that every single one of them heats up differently. So again, the knob is underneath there. I feel the grill being pretty hot. I don't want to flare anything, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit right before I cook my steak or my chicken. Before we go on with this, I also want to tell you that I see a lot of people spraying their grill before they grill. This is the most bogus things I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to show you how you don't need to actually do that. Your grill is ready to go, and if you season and if you put enough oil, just enough oil on your elements, it will never stick to your grill. Back to sautéing. What I'm going to do is, second most important things. We talk about having a pan that is hot. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil, sautéing, just a little bit of oil into that pan, and I'm going to bring it to what we call a smoking point. And I'm sure the camera will be able to see the smoke that you see as the oil gets hot. For sautéing, I season my steak and my chicken on both sides. And you notice that I didn't put any oil on this because my oil is already contained into the pan. We heat up those pans a little bit. We're going to increase the heat source again here. Meantime, for the grilling elements, I'm going to take my steak, and my chicken, and I'm going to add just enough oil to make them shine. That's the key thing here. Here's a smoking point. If we can show that on a camera, you can see how the smoke comes up. That is called the smoking point, my friend. We can even actually leave it there and see it. You can really see that. If you do that, even at home, then you can reduce down your fire underneath, the heat source, put a little bit of butter into this, and immediately put your chicken into this. I'm going to put that back to the fire, reduce that down, take my steak, melt that butter. Now, look what is wonderful is that the smoke is disappearing. My pans were hot, my oil was hot, I put my butter into it, put in my chicken, and you can actually hear the sizzling of the sautéing, the action of sautéing. This is what's so important, so vital. A lot of people start from cold, and you can't go back. You don't have enough power underneath to heat it up to that point. Now, in just a few minutes, look how wonderful that is. In just a few minutes of sautéing, look how wonderful and crispy that chicken looks. I'm going to put it back where it belongs. And you see how gently I'm cooking it? Same thing with the steak. Now, back to our grilling side. As I told you earlier, I put hardly any oil on those steaks, on the steaks and that chicken breast. All I want them to be shiny. All I want is to be shiny. Too much oil will flare up on the grill. Therefore, make flames and turn the food black. At this point then, once the oil is in there, I put my seasoning. And you know my motto from watching my other videos, if you can see it, you can taste it. That is true. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. See? You see the steak is really coated with salt and pepper, as well as that chicken. Now what I'm going to do, before I put it on the grill, I want to bring back to this two pan right here. Do you see any smoke? Do you see any action? You hear a lot of noise? No, everything is cooking gently. That's what controlling your heat source means. They're cooking, believe me. If we lift it up, if we're curious, look how wonderful and crispy that steak is turning out to be. And that chicken breast, how wonderful and crispy that is. Would you eat this? I would. Back to the grilling side. Grilling, I compare grilling to being in a jacuzzi. And I will explain that. Laying down my steaks, and you notice I didn't spread a grill. Taking my chicken breast and laying it down. And you notice that I'm facing basically 11 o'clock here and 11 o'clock here as well. There's a big, big reason why. Let's go back to the jacuzzi theory. When you go into the jacuzzi, do you go in the jacuzzi and out of the jacuzzi, in the jacuzzi, out of the jacuzzi, or do you stay in a jacuzzi to get all the effect of a great jacuzzi? You stay in. The same thing is to sautéing and grilling. If you want every flavor of the grill and the sautéing being imparted into what you're grilling and sautéing, then leave it there. I see a lot of people flipping it over and flipping it over. The steak never gets a chance to get grill marks and absorb the flavor of the grilling. Same as here with the butter and the oil and your seasoning. So a steak like this, by experience, takes about 6 to 7 minutes to cook. What I want to do is I want to grill 3.5 minutes on both sides, and as it comes out, it's going to be perfectly okay. So let it cook for a while, and then we're going to get back to it. So we've let that meat, steak cook, and that chicken breast cook. By experience, I know that that chicken breast takes about 12 minutes to cook, and I know that that steak, depending on the temperatures you want, rare, medium rare, takes about 7-8 minutes to cook. So the idea is literally to divide that time in half. You have a chicken breast that takes 12 minutes to cook. You divide that by half. 6 minutes on one side, 6 minutes on the other. Now, you're looking at this, 6 minutes on one side in a beautiful saute pan. You can see that that chicken breast is beautifully nice and crisp. And you can also hear, I hope you do, that there's not a lot of noise. It's sauteing gently, and it's still crisping on the other side. The same thing goes with my steak. Look how wonderful that is. Nice and seared, nice color. And then on the other side, cooking it again for another 4 minutes. So that's basically how we do this. Going back to the side of my grill, again, I did not move my steak in and out of the jacuzzi. Remember my theory? All I did is turn it over and look at the wonderful grill mark. That steak had plenty of time in 4 minutes to get grilled and to get some nice flavor. The same thing is going to apply to my chicken breast. Look how wonderful that is. I could have this a little bit higher, a bit of a flaring, but that's partly because of the fat from the skin. If you don't want that to happen, you can remove the skin, but basically, that is a wonderful grill mark right here. I'm going to increase the fire just a little bit, and in the meantime here, you can hear that this steak and this chicken is continuing to cook. The interesting part about the steak is that as the steak cooks, as well as chickens, the blood is starting to extract of the meat. That means that the heat is pushing the blood out, and that is a sign that you're getting closer to a medium rare, chasing the blood out. That is a good sign. And the same thing usually goes with grilling. As the steak cooks, the blood comes up and pulls. And by having increased that fire a little bit, I can see that it's doing a little bit of a better job. But basically, that steak is cooked. That chicken breast is almost ready. We're going to let it go a little bit. And then what we'll do is, it's also very important, is to know that once you're grilling something, you should always take it out of the grill and let it rest for 10 minutes so that when you cut it, it doesn't lose all its blood. Basically, a good practice to have. Chicken breast here. We have our steak, wonderful on both sides. You can see the difference, sauteing and grilling. Of course, you don't want to forget to turn the fire off. And if you want to go on to doing a saucepan, that is what you would want to do here. Some beautiful caramelization here, a good sign of someone that sauteed something properly. Grilled again, saute and grill. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something.